everybody. Welcome back to Still Toes to Stilettos. I am your host, of course, Sharice Monique, and we are on the couch where it is all about honoring the rebuild from tragedy to triumph, right? So today's episode is a little bit more personal for me because it's about the drive season. And if you've been paying attention, if you've been following me, if you've been watching, you know I introduced the framework pause, reverse, drive, right? So right now, me personally, I'm in drive season. And I wanted to come on the podcast and talk about it. And I'm not alone tonight. I have a special guest, a very, very special guest on the couch with me tonight. And she's so special because it's my little cousin, it's my blood. Seda, welcome to the couch.
Hey guys.
So, Seda is going to be joining in on this conversation with me. I'm excited to have her here. We were just talking before the camera started rolling. And Seda is a talker. She says she loves to talk, so I know we're going to have a really good conversation. We already been planning and doing things behind the scenes, so her value and her presence here to me is such an honor, and I'm just glad to have her. So, as I was saying, we are in drive season. I am in drive season, right, Seda? And pause, reverse, drive was basically when you pause and reflect and you look at the things that the decisions that you were making. You pause and you reflect about how you were moving, and it's a time to see if those things were working, and if they weren't working, what things can you do differently. So when you move back up into drive, you can move forward with clarity, and move with intention. And for me, what I love about what I do is everything that I do is based off of my lifestyle. Like the framework, pause, reverse, drive. That was something that I was like really going through in real time, and I just turned it into framework because I was at a point in my brand, rebuild your life, and even the podcast where I had such high expectations for what I wanted to do. And when I had entered into 2025, I had like a list of things that I was going to do, that I wanted to do, and it was just, I felt like it was time, and it didn't necessarily go how I planned it, and it was very uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It was uncomfortable. So that's when I started brainstorming. I started looking. First of all, I just had to pause because I didn't like how it felt. First of all,
Right.
you know what I mean? I didn't like how it felt. Um, it was starting to be stressful. And what I do is fun. Like living out my lifestyle, turn it into a brand. I love it. It's fun. But it started to burn me out. You know what I mean? It started to burn me out. It wasn't fun no more. It was stressing me out. Putting out fires every other day. You know, um, and then dealing with other people and relationships, and it just was becoming to a point where I'm like, it's consuming me, and it's consuming me in a way that I didn't like. So that's how pause, reverse, drive came about, because I'm like, let me pause for a second and rewind, reverse, and start over. Start again. And it's nothing wrong with doing so.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with taking a break and reevaluating the situation, assessing the situation, and then adjusting, modification, revising, and then moving forward with more clarity. And that's just what I did. So it was all about like no pressure. Like take
Right.
away the pressure.
Yeah.
Take away the pressure and give yourself some grace.
Yes.
So
So you got comfortable with being uncomfortable. And when you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you were able to reflect on your situation.
I'm glad you said that, because that was something else that I have learned throughout my growth process of just rebuilding, is being okay with being uncomfortable.
Yep.
So if you're uncomfortable out there, if you're in a place of being uncomfortable, to me, I get excited when I'm uncomfortable, even if I don't like it,
Right.
because I know when I'm uncomfortable, I'm ready to do some bomb ass shit.
Yep.
Like I'm ready to work and work and work, because when I get uncomfortable, that's when I start moving different. That's when I start carrying it a little bit different. That's when I start moving more intentionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if you're comfortable and you okay with being comfortable, you need to go look in the mirror and reassess
Yep.
some things. If you're comfortable, you know what I mean? You should never be in a place of comfortability. So being uncomfortable is really a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's all about mindset.
Yep.
Like that's when you take it back to mindset, and it's all about how you, what lens you look at things from, what perspective you see things, and when you take that analogy, when you take that circumstance of just being uncomfortable and what it feels like, and you're like, hold on, and you turn it around, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Have you ever been in a situation like that?
I'm actually, college was definitely a turnaround for me. That was how I got to see life for perception, like looking at it through a different lens of like, stop victimizing who I am, stop being comfortable with being a victim, and get on my feet and do something. And I think that was, I was the most successful one I've ever been, was in college, because I was able to feel my emotions, walk through what I was going through, be confused, be at a point where I didn't know where I wanted to go. And now people always look at me, they're like, "You got it going on." I'm like, "I don't," but I got comfortable with being uncomfortable. I was okay with my life at that time. So
What I admire about that is you realizing that at your age. I didn't, I wasn't able to apply that mindset until I feel like after the fact, in my second prime, because I'm in my second prime, y'all. My second prime, but it wasn't until like maybe like after 35 plus, going into my 40s, when I started being more intentional about me
right,
and the self work. You know
exactly,
what I mean? Like really honing in and trying to figure out, how do I do this for myself? On top of being a psych major, because I think being in behavior science also gives you that one up when it's time to, look at yourself.
exactly,
We're always studying other people, but it also gives us that expertise when it's time to, you know, self reflect and, do that self work on our own selves. Because when you're a behavior science major, we're always checking behaviors. You know what I mean? We're always removing the layers and trying to get to the root of the source or of the problem. So I
exactly.
think that is, also a plus for us.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
definitely agree, 100%.
so now that I moved up to drive season, I went through the reverse. I went through the pause. I went through the reverse, and now I'm in drive, and it feels so good. It feels so good because it's not so much pressure anymore. First and foremost, it's easy. Everybody's, ooh ooh ooh, yeah. We just getting it together over here. Watch, we good. We good. Okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
We was getting locked in.
Yeah, we was definitely getting locked in. So drive season, more intentional, not putting my energy everywhere where it does not need to be. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what I was doing before. I'm like, hold on, I do not need to be have a whole to do list of 1 through 10, because half of the stuff on here can either be X'd off or wait, or it really doesn't matter,
Yep.
or I just need to redirect my focus. And
Yep.
that's what I did. I redirected my focus. I fell back a little bit, and I start moving more with alignment and not so much with what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Still moving, you know what I mean? Still got my eye on the
Exactly.
prize, but just with a different mindset,
Yeah.
and just kind of like falling back a little bit and just realizing, what matters. And one thing I did was put more focus into the daycare. There were things that I wanted to do for my child care program. And it's so awesome because God is just so good. Like, He is so good. Things just start aligning naturally, like
Right.
for the program. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For the program in itself. And it's just like, I'm just watching things just coming to fruition. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. When you just start moving with alignment.
And you sit back and you relax. When you let your cortisol levels just level out and just watch everything play out. That was one thing I definitely had to learn. I spent a lot of time stressed out, and sometimes I still struggle. But like you said, you got to focus on one thing at a time, and what's not ready is just not ready. It's just not. And you
It's
can't
just not.
force it.
Yes, yes. So, drive season, I know a lot of you guys probably are in drive season too. You might not even realize it, or you might need to pause and reverse. But just moving with clarity, moving with intention, and again, giving yourself grace. You know what I mean? I think that was one of the other things that I was holding on myself. Like, you got to keep up, girl. You got to keep going. You got to move at this pace
Yeah.
because you don't want to miss the opportunity. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what's for me is going to be for me. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Had to do a spiritual, had to come back and get closer to God. You know what I mean? Had to come back and talk to him like, listen, This time I'm doing it a little bit differently, saving some money, saving some money because that was another thing. I was investing a lot of money into, just trying to make things work. So, drive season. Now that you finished college, like, what season do you think you're in if you had to pause, reverse, or drive? If you had to name it, if you had to categorize it.
I think I'm in drive season.
You think you're in
I
drive
think I
season?
spent, I would say I just got in drive season because I spent a lot of time pausing and reflecting of where I should go, what I should do, what I should be. And it took that time for me to kind of pause and reflect on where I was at to get into this moment of like, all right, I know where I'm at. So now, I'm in grad school. I know what I want to do. I know where my passion is, and I'm following my passion regardless of what people may think, regardless of how it may look. And it's fitting for me. Like you said, everything's fallen into place naturally. And then I'm looking at God like, I don't know how I got here. So I do think that me learning how to calm down and, just drive and fit what's for me, it's been working pretty well.
Let's talk about drive season strategies. Because not only do I just want to talk about like where I'm at and how it's working for me or how it's working for you, we want you to be able to walk away with, some things that can also, help you too in your season of just trying to find clarity, in your season of trying to move forward, in your season of just trying to reassess and modify your own life. Sometimes I look at it as like a renovation. Like when you have to renovate your house, you know
Yep.
what I mean? You
Got
got
to
to
tear
go
down the
back, you got to tear
walls
down the
and
walls and start over. And to me, drive season was removing some of the distractions. You
yep.
know what I mean? Sometimes you got to remove some of the things that are distracting you, that are keeping you unfocused. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to protect your energy. That's a big one.
That's a big one for me right now.
That's a big one. Right now, with it's so much going on.
It's a lot going on right now.
It's so much going on just in our city. And it's like right in our backyards. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's real. It's like right in our backyards. And it's like you really have to intentionally, like, I'm talking about remove yourself from social media and things of that nature, because you will start carrying that baggage. You know what I mean? That stuff will start affecting you internally. You
Yeah.
won't even understand, like where is this
Where it's
coming
coming
from?
from.
Where it's coming from. Um, this is a good one too. Stop forcing doors. Stop forcing doors. What's for you is going to be for you. That was another one that I had to do too, that I had to really learn.
Yeah.
And the opportunities started coming naturally. The things that I want to do, you know what I mean? The things that I'm interested in, things that started happening naturally.
When you force it, you kind of take out the nature of the drive aspect because now you're stressing what shouldn't be or what might be.
Exactly,
So
exactly. And instead of just letting, it just happen naturally, or just really understanding like what's for you is, what's for you. And drive season isn't a moment. It's something like that is, it's growth. It happens day by day. It's time. Like you have to give it time. Like we all want that, like
the
that
steps.
microwave, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That microwave type of results. But it's all a process. Like progress is a slow process.
Yep. I
It's a slow
definitely
process.
agree.
And like I said, we all just want that microwave type of results, action, the rewards, you know what I mean? We got to put the work in, you know what I mean? We have to start putting in the work. So, what you think?
I definitely think that that's the part that people get stuck at is the put it in the work part. Sometimes it do get too hard. It's actually funny that you said that because I was talking to my stepsister. We were trying to get this content thing together, and it started getting hard. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Like, this is hard. And she called me, and she was like, how bad do you want it? And I was like, you know what? You're very right. I want this. But sometimes when stuff gets too hard and it's a little complex, I feel like, those steps start to get less clear, but you got to just push through. So it's funny that you said that. It felt like clarity.
Then, listen, and the last one I have on my notes is execution.
Wow.
Execution. Drive season is definitely about execution. You already know what you got to do, and we have the information right there.
Yeah.
We have the information, and it's about taking the information and moving on it,
Right.
executing. Because then we just stay paused. We stay in um, that sense of being comfortable.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So pause, reverse, drive. That's where we are in drive season. And coincidentally, one of the reasons why I have stayed on here today is because in this drive season, something that also came about is I'm so excited.
I'm
I
like
know I'm
cheesing.
so
I'm
excited.
like waiting for you to say it.
I
I'm
know
like,
I'm like so
ah.
excited because okay, so as I was stating, everything that I do was really a part of my lifestyle. You know what I mean? The Rebuild Your Life brand. That was I turned my lifestyle into the brand. Rebuild Your Life. This podcast, Still Toast to Stilettos. This was something that I turned into. You know, it was my lifestyle. I turned it into a platform. You know, working in construction and being able to turn that into Still Toes to Stilettos. You know, it's the grit to the grace. You know what I'm saying? And then the pause, reverse, drive. But before I even had all of those things, I had a program entitled Ram Role Model Society, and that also was based off of my life. And I started that program back in 2011, and that was one of my footprints in the city. Before that, it was being a model. You know what I mean? When I was younger, you know, people was like, well, people got to know me from modeling. And
Runs in the family.
another full circle moment, another full circle moment is the fact that I believe that I could model. I believe that I could do it because I had family members that I seen do it. Um, I had family members who were in the business, and that gave me the aspirations. That gave me the motivation to even this try it, right? Um, and one of the family members being your dad,
Yeah.
your dad.
He was really, I always brag about him. He was good at what he did, for sure.
Her dad did some major things in the modeling industry. He even took me to New York, introduced me to some major players in the game because you know he was doing what he had to do as a man of God, a cousin, a family member. He was bringing me along with him. You know what I mean? And what I did with it is what I did with it. But that's what people know me as. You know, once I got started, and then I needed to put the purpose behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because before I wanted to be a model, I always had this dream or this vision of just having my own program, right? And that's how Ran Role Models came about because I couldn't model no more. I couldn't model no more because of my life choices. And if you know my story, you might have heard me say it over and over again. My life choices stagnated me from, continue on that modeling journey. Because I was going back and forth to New York. I was on TV. I had extra roles on soap operas, music videos. I was like really, God was really showing me that it doesn't matter what your circumstances look like. I did enough to know that I could do it though. I learned enough. I did enough to know that I can pour into other girls and, make them believe in themselves and not sell them a dream.
Mm.
So when I couldn't model no more or when I felt like, okay, I had them kids first of all. So I had to had to pay the bills, had to take care of the kids. So had to move on to plan B and I was getting a job. I went to college, boop, all that kind of stuff like that. But then came Ran Role Model Society. That was like my second dream, being a model. And then I started my own girls program. And the mission of the program was to build and boost esteem. The same thing I'm doing now with grown women. I used to do it with children, with girls. And that's something that I don't really talk about in, this current time. My husband asked me last week, he was like, you forgot to tell the people, that about Ran Role Models. I'm like, I don't really do that no more though. He like, but that's where it all started. I'm like, you were actually right, because I barely mention that. I barely even talk about it, but that's where the purpose really all started for me when I started this group, Ran Role Model Society. RAM stands for Refrain, Abstain, and Maintain. And we were doing runway, we were doing workshops, we were traveling, we were doing photo shoots. And I was just teaching these girls how to build confidence, but I was doing it through TV, fashion, photography, and modeling. And boy, do I miss those days. I had all the baddest little young girls in the city, and we were just really doing our big one. It was really impactful. I had the parent support, and I was doing this with like no money, no funding, no grants, none of that. We were just doing it from the muck, um, and it was really a impactful program.
Yeah.
And I ran it for years. I ran that program for years. I started it in 2011, but that's where it all started. That's what. Let me make sure I stay on track. That's where it all started at. Before it was Rebuild Your Life, before it was still so Stilettos, it was Ran Role Model Society. Ran Role Models Society. That's how I made one of my imprints in this city was, doing what I do. You know what I mean? And I did it for years. And after a while, I had to stop because, other things started coming into play. I never really had the sufficient help to keep it going. Not to say that I probably even really tried to look for it. I'm not even going to say I couldn't have got the help, but I don't even think I even really tried. But to make a long story short, it brings us to here now today. Bump all that. We are here today and we are talking about Rand Role Model Society and bringing it back. Like bringing back Rand Role Model Society. So for me to have that opportunity right now while I'm in drive season means a whole heck of a lot. And my little cousin right here is the reason why I have the opportunity to, bring it back. You hit me up one day and was like, cousin, what's up? What we doing? You should bring it back. And I'm like, if she would have called me last year, I probably would have been like, no. I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, I would have been like, oh, let me think about it. But as soon as she called me, I'm like, yes, let's do it. And the reason why I can say, yes, let's do it because I am in a different mind space. My lens is different. My vision is different. And I feel like this is what God wants me to do.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think that your purpose is needed right now. That purpose of your audience, what your envision, the dream that you have for that program is such a big need right now. Like you said, everything is so much happening in our backyard. I think there's nothing better you can do but provide people the grace that they need to just like a distraction, like that platform. So I think it's like the perfect time.
It's definitely the perfect time. And I'm with it. I'm with it. So we have come up. So guys, Ram Role Model Society is back. Ram Role Model Society is back. So stay tuned because we're going to have more information coming. You can sign up your girls, your nieces, your little sisters. We'll have the location. We'll have everything for you. But we just had to put it out there now so you can get ready and look forward to it. This summer, we're going to do a whole summer pilot program. So what I was just telling Sadie is I just feel really good because there was a point in time where I wouldn't let nobody have control of this, of my baby. Like, Ran Role Models is like my baby. Like, I birthed it. And I'd be like, nah. Like, I put together everything and then y'all follow suit behind me. But now I'm in a place where I want to pass it on to someone else so they can carry the torch. You know what I mean? I want to see someone else take what I envision and do their own thing. I am so okay with that, so comfortable, with that. And Seda did that. Seda put together a bomb program. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah,
Tell them a
so
little bit about it.
I spent my sophomore year of college helping assist 8 other people put together a all Black African American modeling org where we empowered young women and young men to model and walk, and we kind of found it like a platform, and then from there it kind of started booming where it became something where people would come to practice every day and we would learn different techniques, different skills, and we met each other. I met friends, I met family, and I think that Eminence Modeling Troupe would never leave my heart because, like you said, that was something that it spoke to me. I've been like in fashion and in the modeling agency since I was 13. So when I was able to bring that to my school at a PWI, I went to Penn State, and they don't have that kind of stuff there. And I was like, this would be really cool if we had this. And we would do the 6-inch heels and be walking on the runway, and it built something in me because even though I've been in fashion for that long, I've never had the confidence to walk in front of hundreds of people and model and smile and pose, and it gave me so much confidence that I even the following year I hosted an event, and I was talking in front of almost 300 people, and I was like, I would have never did this in a million years. Like my therapist even was like, you did what? So I think that was that was really beneficial to
Big.
me, and I really want to bring that to a lot of other young girls, and continue to kind of birth that confidence that it gave me.
For me, just thinking back on how I felt when I started RAM and looking at thinking back about the girls who came in and out the program, I used to tell them, I'm just like you.
Yep.
I am just like you because they look at you and be like you said, oh, you got it all together. That's not necessarily always the case.
Yep.
And it feels so good when you can take, a young girl and you can remove those layers and you can see her flourish. You can see her start from down here and then you
Yep.
can start to see her build up, session after session, when you start pouring into them and you see their whole attitude change, you see their confidence change. And what I realized is all it takes is confidence.
Yep.
All it takes is confidence for you to get out there and bust a move. It doesn't matter. Like I used to tell the girls, it doesn't matter if you want to model or not. You know what I mean? The confidence is what really matters. The confidence that you're going to get from this program, the confidence that you're going to build, you could take it and be whatever you want and do whatever you want. But confidence is confidence across the board.
Yep.
Across the board, it's going to, you got a test tomorrow. You think you might not pass.
Yep.
But if you're confident, you know you're going to do what it takes to pass the test. You understand what I'm saying? Confidence is not knowing it all.
Exactly.
Confidence is not about having it all figured out. Confidence is knowing that you can figure it out. You know what I mean? It's not having all the answers. It's not showing up the best, but it's showing up knowing your value. It's showing up knowing that you can figure it out. That's what confidence is all about to me.
Yep. It's showing up even when you scared and you don't know what the outcome going to be.
Exactly, but you're still there.
You're still there.
So we are very, very excited about, bringing back the program. Tell them a little bit about what's going to happen in the program.
Yeah, so I want to. I was talking to my cousin about just creating a foundation to where women feel comfortable, they feel a safe space. And as someone, we both worked in, behavioral science, like you understand the power of impact when you're just there for somebody. So kind of building that foundation so that we start from who am I and we end with I know who I am and I know where I'm going. So
Period.
the program will be based on, yes, we're going to be modeling, yes, we're going to be walking, but we're also going to be building a foundation of confidence for these young women. So when they leave this pilot program, they're going to be like, well, that one summer I did that modeling program, they can't tell me nothing. And even if it's like, career-wise, maybe they'll think of different careers they want to go to and, what they want to build from where we started. So that's kind of like how I was talking about to my cousin about how I wanted it to kind of flow. Because she's trusting me with her baby, so I got to make sure the foundation is good. So
And I trust you. I trust you. And I remember when, back then when we used to do the workshops, and we used to meet like twice a week. Like one day on like a Tuesday, we would do a workshop, and then on that Thursday, we would have runway practice. We have runway practice. We had the snacks, the juice, and everything. The girls would come. We'd turn on the music. They get to dance. They just get to be free. A platform for them where they can just have a voice. We're going to listen to them, and then, like we said, we're going to teach them how to. When you step out in that community, you're walking tall with your head up. You know what I mean? And that community is your runway. It's not just about being on the real runway while you're in here, but when you walk out that door, that's the runway. When you walk into school, that's the runway. And it's not that you're walking down the runway thinking that you're all that. You just have confidence. You just know your self-worth. And I remember doing those workshops and saying to myself back then, and I started this program in 2011, and I ran it straight for, I don't even know how many years, but I ran that thing like consistently. And I used to say, I know some women who need this program. I used to be like, I know some adults who can use this program. So fast forward today, now, I'm doing exactly what I said. Back then, again, another like full circle moment. It's all about, drive season. Drive season. It was something else that I wanted to say about RAM and your involvement and the things that we are going to be doing. So this to be a little bit more in depth about what the program looks like for some of the viewers out there who might be interested. The program will run twice a week. And then we'll have the 1 day of workshop and, instruction or, something like that. And then the second day will be runway, where we will teach the girls modeling, posing. We'll have photo shoots involved. We'll have some fashion involved. We will be looking for sponsors, people who want to donate to the program, even some volunteers, maybe even guest speakers, all that good stuff like that. So please, look out for the information. If you want to come in and volunteer, you might think you might have something to give. You think you might have be of value to the program. Don't hesitate to reach out to us and be on the lookout for it. Be on the lookout for it.
Because it's coming very soon.
Yeah, it's what in the April. We're looking to start it in June. And again, when I think about it, this the thought of it, bringing it back, being back in the same space with young girls, it's so exciting. And when I just think about the space that I'm in as far as drive season, I gotta keep going back to drive season, y'all, because it feels good. It feels great, and it's not about all wins or is a win. Even the small wins, you know, even the small wins are a win. Don't overlook the small steps, the small progress that you are making, because those small steps eventually turn into something big. Like, we're celebrating everything. I'm just excited that, I was excited about the phone call, and then I was excited because you called me back. You know what I mean? And when you called me back, I was great. Well, I actually already called you.
Yeah.
I already called you and I couldn't get through because you changed your number. And then you, boom, you didn't even know I called you. And then she called me back. And that was just all alignment. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because certain things start with a conversation. And it's always about timing and alignment.
Yep.
So I think I'm just grateful. I'm just totally grateful and excited. And that's what it is, y'all. Still toast to stilettos. This is the couch of rebuild. This is the platform. And that's what we're doing. Anything else you want to tell them?
I'm just excited for what's to come, and I hope that the energy is brought. That's what I'm hoping. And if the energy is not brought, I hope we can build the energy.
Oh, yeah, we definitely going to bring the energy. Listen, bringing the energy is not going to be an issue. It's not going to be a problem. Oh, I need some of my old RAM alumni to come back. That would be awesome if some
Yes,
of the
to
old
have them
alumni
come
could
back.
come
Yep.
back, do a little Ram reunion. Ram Squad, where y'all at? Where y'all at? I'm to tag y'all in this episode and get y'all back on here. But I think we covered what we needed to cover today. We talked about, drive season, what that looks like for me and how I feel. I know for this season, I definitely wanted to, give guys a little bit more behind the scenes of what I have going on and what it looks like for me, because it's not always so polished as it may look or as it may seem. But we're not folding. We standing 10 toes down. I got on my steel toe boots, laced up my boots, put on my hard hat, and let's go. Thank you for tuning in. Remember that the couch is always open. Entrepreneurs, if you have an extraordinary story to tell, if you have a business that you are building or a brand that you are building, this is the couch that you need to be on. Come on here and get your stuff, get your promo, get your clips, so you can go ahead and hit the ground running with your products, with your story. The couch is open. Tune in, like, subscribe. Still Toast to Stilettos. We're on YouTube, Amazon, a couple other sites. And that's it for me, y'all. That's all I got. That's all I got on today. That's all I got. Sadie didn't talk that much. I thought you was going to really be.
It was I enjoyed listening. I think that was a lot of confirmation for me. So I enjoyed listening to you talk, and I definitely would be sitting on that. A lot of things you said, very informative.
Yeah, so we're going to come back. We'll definitely be back when we have more information, more solid information about the program, because we definitely want to get it across all airways and let everybody know what we're doing and what we have going on. So stay tuned for more information. Stay tuned for more of episodes, more deeper, more meaningful conversations. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Still Toes to Stilettos, and we are signing out.